Shalom Kal, Halal Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, even the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful like tabernacle of David. The elder Yahshua back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you all. And today is War and Rumors of War Tuesday, where we go to Matthew 24 and 6. And we search for this famous phrase that says wars and rumors of wars. Okay, and there it is. We read the whole thing in King James Version. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Then what we do is we go in here. We read some of these different versions and we see the differences. NIV is rumors. NLT is threats. So we got rumors and threats of wars. Down here to the Good News Translation. Where's the GNT? The GNT says the news of battles far away. So we got rumors, threats, and news. Down here in the Aramaic, we have reports. So we got reports, we got news, of battles. We have rumors and threats. So, and they all collectively they add up to fame. The fame of World War III. You will hear of wars and news or reports, meaning that's all you're going to hear. So, now there are two sides of this war, right? You got the, let's call it the West, and you got the East, okay? So this guy Meyer Tusi here on his channel, he is an Iranian who moved, his family moved to England. So he's against the Iranian, which they call the regime, okay? Although he's an Iranian, so he has a particular view. He has a, install Reza, whatever this guy's name was, Shah or whatever. The guy that the West had installed his dad or whatever. So anyway, Meyer is he's a revolutionist, if you will, and he wants the regime change, if you will. So he's an English Iranian. He's an English Carmanian, if you will. So let's listen to his viewpoint on how the war is going. Okay, and kind of funny to hear somebody who looks like an Arab talk the way he does anyway. And this goes largely into wars and rumors of, not wars and rumors, but peace and safety, because these peace talks, or what they call it, ceasefire extension peace talks, failed. So that goes directly into peace and safety.
Well, welcome back to Tusi TV. This is your global news channel. I'm Maya Tusi, and we have some breaking news coming from the Middle East, as the Islamic Republic of Iran have now rejected the ceasefire extension that was announced by President Trump about a couple of hours ago. The talks in Iran, well, the talks in Pakistan about the situation in Iran have now collapsed following the failure by the IRGC representatives to turn up to Islamabad. We also have a situation, ongoing situation in the country, as there is an ongoing coup, an IRGC military coup against the political leadership. Over the last few weeks, we've already had the IRGC guys technically trying their best to call the shots by pushing aside the clerics, the ayatollahs, as well as the governments. But of course, the the government faces were still the main faces, including the president, the foreign minister, and the so-called Speaker of Parliament.
My neighbor hasn't been to a gas station in 4 months.
Susie's got a lot of commercials, apparently. Make them side hustles.
We are getting some updates about an official takeover by the IRGC military, and we are getting some other information that we will verify before confirming. President Trump has also confirmed that the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz will continue, which is basically paralyzing the IRGC on a financial level, and it's doing more damage than even the strikes that we've had for a couple of years.
So he's very gregarious about the West winning and overthrowing Iran so that they can get the right government in so he can go home and da-da-da-da. So interesting perspective on who's winning from an Iranian who is in exile, I guess.
Now, there are also at least 2 explosions in 2 different Iranian cities that have been reported. We have one of the videos for you guys, which I will show you. And of course, get your reaction in the live chat as usual to see what we are dealing with. First things first, let's talk about what the IRGC and their members are up to tonight in the capital of Iran. We are getting some footage following the collapse of the talks with the US in Pakistan. They are now out on the streets. While these guys are out, we got the confirmation that Vice President J.D. Vance called off the trip to Pakistan for talks because he realized that nothing is actually happening. The reason for the cancellation of talks, especially from the United States side, wasn't just because nobody was turning up from Iran. It was because they got intel, and President Trump did mention earlier on, a short while ago, that there is a bit of a fracture at the top of the leadership in Iran. The Americans realized something is happening right now in Tehran, and we don't think anybody's going to turn up because the IRGC military and Vahidi, who is in charge of the IRGC military, seem to have officially taken control of the whole system. President Trump said, as I mentioned, that the blockade will stay. And there was a lot of speculations earlier on that President Trump will actually lift the blockade of Hormuz in order to compromise and to bring the IRGC back to the negotiating table. A lot of people who are anti-Trump, anti-war, they were saying that, yes, of course, President Trump is going to do this. Trump always chickens out, and he's going to fall for the trap set by the IRGC. And of course, President Trump didn't do that. And the blockade will remain in place, at least for now. And the IRGC, as I said, not only rejected the ceasefire extension that was announced by the American president, they've also said that we are now getting ready militarily to resume the fighting, and they have been threatening to hit the U.S. Navy. Let's go to the latest we have from this get-together by the IRGC. Oh, hang on. Clowns everywhere. This is weird. So
look at Meyer too.
We got they got rockets, missiles, everything on the streets. You shouldn't do that. You should hide them. You do realize they're gonna get hit. Not a good idea to bring them out in public. But going to President Trump again, he released this statement, which has now been obviously rejected by the regime in Iran. Based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and, in all other respects, remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or the other. This is absolutely brilliant because a lot of people were expecting, following the collapse of the talks, for the president to play the obvious card on the table, which is immediately launch an attack on Iran. Now, but that would have been the obvious thing to do, right? That's not what President Trump does. He decided to make it even worse because he knows there is currently a civil war at the top of the regime and a coup, ongoing coup, and he knows they're not going to be able to have any unified proposal. He's just said, okay, so ceasefire has ended, right? We're going to consider the ceasefire ongoing, but the blockade in Hormuz continues, and that's destroying the regime, the blockade of Hormuz. There's no money. They're running out of money. And they're fighting among themselves. So basically, at this point, the Americans have decided to sit back, watch the fireworks from the outside.
Pretty biased opinion. What we do see is that they don't want to talk to them. Okay? And this is why. Peace and safety. Let's get that. Because if they go talk to them, they're going to fire on them anyway. Peace. As soon as they go to the talks, right? As soon as the ink is drying on the agreement, that's when they're going to sudden destruction. 1 Thessalonians 5:3 in the NIV. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly. As labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. So Iran has figured out, we know exactly what you're going to do, so we'll just say no to the talks beforehand, and if you're going to hit us, you're going to hit us anyway. So, interesting perspective from old Meyer, too. See, nothing less than what I expected. There's two sides to everything, but we're going to see who wins. We already know the outcome pursuant to 2 Ezra 15, roundabout, starting at, 28. With that, we pray that the elect are edified. You brothers and few sisters, shalom.